Well, welcome, uh, Prime Team, Angelica and Rob. You guys have been good friends for a long time, and it's an honor to have you on. Um, Angelica, we go back all the way to our Nordstrom days, and Rob, I met you through Angelica and Dress to Soar as you were building Prime, and she was building it with you, and you guys were growing, and it was just still a little bit newer, and to see you guys expand and grow and your footprint in the area and the amount of leaders you're developing and the realtors and their success and just seeing how the impact you guys are making in the region made us want to have you on and give you a chance to share kind of more of your journey, your story, and how you've been able to do this together, because family businesses are beautiful and challenging, and I've had the pleasure of walk beside you with the Working Genius and strategy stuff as well. So I've seen some of that as well, but it's been so cool to just see how you've navigated it together, with a lot of grace, a lot of gratitude, a lot of positivity, a lot of grit, and just looking forward to hearing from you about that. And Dominick's going to kind of lead us through some questions, and I'll bounce in with some thoughts, and we'll just see where this goes. But we're excited to crack it open. So, Dominick, let's get us rocking and rolling with
Let's do
with
it.
a question.
Excellent. Well, I think a really good place to start would just be to have you respectively kind of share how you guys came into this business and tell us the origin story, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Well, I'll start with, it wasn't how we came into Prime, but how I got into real estate in general, I guess. I was working a job, call center job at AT&T Wireless, and it was a great job at the time. But I wanted something more. I wanted to be somewhere that, what I got out of it had a direct correlation to what I put into it, as opposed to sitting next to someone doing the same job, and no matter how hard I work or if I do more than they do, we're basically the same. It didn't really matter. It was very corporate. So I wanted something that I could get more out of if I put more into it. And also, my entire job history was either sales or customer service. And I was thinking about what could I get into that really took, my previous career path that I was on, and the skills that I had gained from that, and really have that transfer over very well. And I wanted to help people. I, bought my first condo at 20, and the experience was okay. Wasn't great. And, looking back, I thought this was something I could dive into, make an impact on people's lives, utilize the skills I've already gained throughout my working career, and would do exactly what I wanted, as far as it's directly correlated to how much I put into it is what I get out of it. That was like 21 years ago. So.
That's great.
So Prime. So how you got into Prime, though, I feel like actually I would love to hear your story of what made you want to. I know that being you're an agent, you are an entrepreneur, right? Being a real estate agent, but what made you want to start Prime?
Yeah, so it really came down to I had a really big breakout year, and it got to the point where I never saw my wife other than at night, and it wasn't working very well for us personally. During the summertime, I would be out of the house before it was even daylight, and you know how early it gets daylight in the summer, and I would be getting home after daylight, and it's light till like 8-9 o'clock during the summer, so I'd be out all day, super busy. Loved that I was able to help so many people. I was closing so many deals. We were making great money, but it didn't really matter because we never saw each other. For a long time too, in my real estate career, I was like, I don't want to be responsible for people. I want to be solo. I want to go fast. I want to go hard. I want to go big, and I don't need anybody else slowing me down. You know what I mean? And after having this year, it really hit me. My bandwidth was just maxed out. I can't do more than what I was doing that year on my own. and it was not a very good situation for us at home. It's like, why am I doing all of this if I can't have time with my family and enjoy time with my family? I'm literally, paying tons of money for leads to come in every month. So the phone rings, I have to grab it. I'm getting up from dinners to grab the phone. I'm leaving movies in the movie theater to grab phone calls. And I had so much business coming in that I did pass some off to agents in the office. We kind of split it up between us because it was an opportunity I gave to them. And it was like, you know what? This is going to be the way. If I'm able to bring this much business in, more than I can handle, and it's going to benefit other people and help them grow. And ultimately I can affect more people, right? We want to elevate the industry. We want to have, do better with the real estate industry. Kind of has a black eye on it. It always does for one reason or another. And I think a big part of that is because the bar of entry is so low. The agents get in here. Some of them don't get in for the right reasons. They think, oh, looking at houses is fun, or I want to make money only, and they're not worried about people. But I figured that if I can take what I've learned over the previous 15 years or so at that point, 14 years, and pour what I know into agents and give them opportunities and training and coaching that I didn't have coming in, because you get your license and you're like, great, I'm licensed. I don't know what to do now. What do I do? And it's like, well, go call people, go make deals. It's like, well, how do I do that? And I realized if I could take what I've learned and pour into other people, I can have a bigger impact on the industry. I can help more people, help people in this industry to, the fail rate is so high, but help people to realize their dreams through real estate. So ultimately just have a bigger impact. And so that's what led to going from, I will always be solo and I don't want responsibility, to that was my light bulb moment on I can make a much bigger impact by growing a team or a company.
Excellent. So Angelica, would definitely love to hear your story. And after that, perhaps we could just take a few minutes to understand, prime real estate as a whole.
You can hear how
there we go. Sorry. So for me, the journey is completely different. So Robert had been in real estate for a long time, and I didn't know much about the real estate industry, and all I knew was things that I maybe didn't love. I saw how that industry ran. I didn't love the industry myself. I never thought that I was going to go into that. But Robert, once he decided to start his own team, I fully supported that from the beginning. And I told him at the time I was working at SMUD, and I said, I fully support you. I'm going to keep my full-time job with benefits, and I'm going to work really hard so that you can have the freedom to build and not be worried about money right now. We will be fine with what I can bring. Not as much as he was bringing, but when you go from being a sales agent to starting to run a team, you have to take a big pay cut. That's just the reality. Is your attention goes from sales, which is where the money is, into growing a team and nurturing people, and that takes time. So that was kind of my initial what I brought to the table initially. And what was really awesome is he very quickly attracted people. People love Robert and they wanted to follow him, and he has a great reputation. So within, I want to say it was 6 months, Robert, correct me if I'm wrong, you already had about 5-6 people on the team. And so it happened really fast. And at that point, he kind of tricked me. He invited me to a conference in San Francisco, and a real estate conference. And I thought, oh, perfect. I'll go. I'll stay in the hotel for free. I'll go shopping. It's going to be great. He did not ever tell me that he actually wanted me to be in the conference with him. I never ever thought I was going to go into real estate. So as we're driving to San Francisco, so we're crossing the bridge, he says, hey, by the way, I actually want you to stay and be with me all day at the conference. I was like, oh my gosh, no, I don't want to do that. And he's like, come on, just do it for me. Just stay just one day. I was like, okay. Well, about halfway through the conference, my light bulb went off. I was like, oh my gosh, like I have a lot of the tools that he needs. I didn't have the real estate experience, but I had the management experience, the people, the events, the I understood more of how that industry worked, and I really saw that there was so much opportunity. So after that conference, I said, okay, on the way back, he was like, I would really love you to join. Like, I want you to help me with the operations. That's what you do. You love training. Like, that's your thing. And I didn't think that I would be the best fit. I also had never worked with my husband before. So I was a little bit afraid of that. I know how he is. And he's very disciplined, has very high standards. And I'm a free spirit. I like to do different things every day. I don't like to be in a cage. So we're very, very different. So but I believe in Robert. I believe in him like 100%. So I was like, if I don't do it, it's just going to take him longer. Like I knew he was going to get where he was going, but I decided to go part-time on my job at SMUD and work from home. I think it was 20 hours a week. And so I actually moved my office to home. I was working 20 hours a week. I think it was 2 10-hour days actually at the time. So I had more time to come into the office. And I started learning about real estate and I started really loving the industry. Like that's when things started changing. I was like, this is actually really interesting. There's a lot more to it than I thought. And I decided to quit my job. At one point I was working full-time at Prime and I was still working a lot at SMUD. So I was getting pretty exhausted. So we made the decision of like, we got to pull the plug. Either I go back to SMUD or I'm going to leave SMUD and go full-time at Prime. Because doing both, I was kind of, I hate to say it, but half-assing both. And so I decided to leave SMUD and come to Prime full-time. I actually left in February, I believe, of 2020. And pandemic, I left my solid job. And I remember my boss called me and he said, Angelica, the door's open. Do you want to come back? And I said, no. I said, no, we're going to do it. I'm fully committed. This is going to have to work. Thankfully, we all know what happened with the real estate market, after the pandemic or during the pandemic, it just blew up. I feel like I got so much experience from that. Like I came in at the perfect time because I came in at a time when it was really busy. So we had to learn how to create good processes and make sure that we could handle a ton of listings coming at the same time. So I learned a lot about being in contract and learning how to deal with all the things that can happen during a transaction. And now what's happening in the industry now, it's kind of slowed down from what it was back then. We are still having our best year ever this year. We're I'm going to toot my own horn. We're going to hit 175 million in sales, which was a goal of ours that seems so unobtainable. And now we're there. And now it's like, oh, okay, what's next? But yes, it was so busy. I got a lot of experience actually doing the job. And then now that it's slowed down, now I have all this experience that we just have to fine tune. And it is a great time for people like us, hustlers, to take on more market because a lot of agents are just kind of saying, no, it's too hard right now. I'm gonna wait until it changes. But you gotta find a win in every market. I think that's one thing people would say, like, well, you're going into real estate, it's so unreliable. Are you sure you have a good job? Even my family, like I got a lot, like my mom, my dad, they were all worried. But the truth is business is always going to be there. You just have to find it. You have to find a way to pivot to make it happen.
Excellent.
Do you guys know like the fixed versus growth mindset? I mean, I know you have like different because I feel like what you're describing is like the comfort of the fixed mindset of like, oh, but I've got like a comfortable job, compared to like there's always opportunity for growth. It's just you have to find it. It's just kind of how you're describing that just really rings true with that mindset. Is that kind of something that you guys what is your mindset kind of belief, or how do you guys cultivate that that beautiful way of continuing forward and meeting the moment?
I'll let Robert speak because I've been speaking a lot. But then I have some stuff to share too.
So, you talked about with Working Genius, right? Like Angie helping at the training that you're at, where she's, something that was so powerful and valuable to you, but just comes naturally to her. So she downplays it like, oh, no big deal. I think as far as having that mindset of abundance, not the fixed mindset, that's something that's kind of natural for us. I don't know if it's something that we have to, something we do talk about and we talk about to our agents, but it comes natural to us. I think we're just kind of wired that way. I don't think we'll ever be, people will ask, hey, are you happy? Like, yeah, I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied. I don't know if we'll ever be satisfied. Now, hitting $175 million this year has been, it's something that we thought was so far out. And then now that we're here, it was a big dream, it's a big goal. But now that we're here, like Angie said, we're like, what's next, And a lot of people are so worried in this industry. They don't want to share. They have that scarcity mindset. There's only so much business out there. Well, I don't know. That's just not how we look at it. The people we look at as, the people who hustle, the people who work hard, the people who are going to take care of people and do a great job for them. There's no limit. It's not like, here's the pie and everyone needs to get their piece of the pie. We don't look at it that way. There's business for everybody who's going to do good business and take care of people and work hard. So I think it's just something that kind of comes natural to us.
That's great.
Yeah. So with mindset, I mean, one big thing that I think is important if you're thinking about any kind of entrepreneurship job or journey is, for us, it's we're constantly learning, and that's the thing. It's like there's so many times we have failed. We have made so many mistakes. I mean, I know, Justin, some of them, but we've made mistakes over not over and over, but multiple mistakes as we grow, because there's no manual when you're building your own company. There's no, even though we have companies around us that are maybe a little bit ahead of us that can teach us the ways, like they say, like, I tried this, it didn't work, but it really, our culture is different, our team is different. So it's not like it's a photocopy, black and white, like what worked for them is going to work for us, or if that didn't work for them, it won't work for us. A lot of times we'll listen and we'll take it in, discern it, and then think, well, that didn't work for them, but for us it could make sense, so we still try it. And then sometimes we fail, sometimes it works. But I think, going back to mindset, it's about, when you do fail, you got to think about how much you grew. Like, it's never a bad thing. It's like, we tried it, so now we're on the other side of that. So so I think that's another super important thing, is that mindset of, there's no, you're not failing, you're just trying a different way. And you learn. And Robert always says, you pay for an education no matter what. So sometimes it's, you're paying for an education, and we like to tell our agents that too. Like, yeah, we make mistakes, you learn, you won't do it again.
Well, I got an acronym for you guys to give to your team. So it's FAIL, but failing is not failing. It's just first attempt in learning. And when we have that mentality around anything, that way we never see our, because like you said, it's an education. As long as we're learning from the mistakes we make. Edison failed 1,000 times to create the light bulb, and that's the realities. Like, so, yeah, I love that. That's spot on.
I would say, we definitely, having an abundant mindset kind of comes a little more naturally to us, but we are always learning, right? And it's funny, I have Audible on my phone, and I have it under a block of, how you can block your apps. It's under education. I don't listen to books for entertainment. Every single book I listen to is something to do with, how can I get better with people? How can I get better with sales? How can I get better with my mindset? So even though a lot of that does come natural, at least the desire to be that way comes natural. So we do spend a lot of time working on ourselves for that, though, as well.
And that's one thing I know of you, Robert, with your high tenacity is like discipline comes naturally for you. It may not feel like it to you. I don't know if it feels like it comes naturally, but you being so disciplined, as Angie said, I think it's something that every entrepreneur needs to develop, but not every entrepreneur is that naturally. I am not naturally disciplined. I have to totally develop it. Dominic is Mr. Discipline. That's why, and you both are T's. That's why you two are similar in a lot of ways. So yeah, that's just something to know. That's, I think, is interesting. I'm just curious, like that discipline. Have you always been that way, or is that something you feel like you is more of a nature or a nurture in terms of you developed that, or it was like even as a kid you were pretty like disciplined and gritty?
I think I've always been that way, and I just assumed everybody was. But that's another thing that's interesting when you start building a team or a company and you work with so many personalities, and that's why Working Genius was so enlightening. And especially to have our leadership group go through that, and now a lot of our agents. It's like Angie. Angie, there's certain things she does or says, and it just comes natural to her. And I'm like, how did you think of that? I don't understand how you like. It just really shows that we all have our own strengths. But yeah, being disciplined and just wanting to get stuff done has just always come natural for me. So
My last thing, and then I'm gonna let Dom talk because I feel like I've been dominating. But is there something came out of the event that Andrew was there with me, and it's this. I've had this concept of like the golden rule, but actually, someone said it as like the platinum rule. They during the session when I was telling them about the golden rule, I'm like, that makes sense. And the idea is it's like, and then Patrick Lencioni, I talked to him and I shared that with him. He said, "Oh yeah, that's like a deeper version of the golden rule, which is that." You two have different strengths. You take for granted what you have, and you think everybody else are like you said, Rob, about your grittiness, your discipline, and so then you treat others how you want to be treated because we want to be you're good people. You want to treat people the right way, but by doing that, many times it actually isn't what how they want to be treated, or understanding that that's how they are. And so the platinum rule is understand Working Genius and what people crave, and self-awareness, so that you can give them what they treat them the way they want to be treated, not how you think they want to be treated, because that's what you would want. And that was like a big I've had over a period of number of years, but really that platinum rule idea was pretty cool name for it.
yeah, no, that's spot on, because there's so many times I'm sitting down with an agent and I'm telling them what I would want to hear in that scenario, and it's just missing the mark. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
So it's anyways, that's a little insight. It was fun. Dom, I'll let you throw a question.
No, there's
Throw a question.
been a number of things that
So many cool.
brought up in conversation. I've been
Yeah.
trying to go back and circle back to some of these topics. So, big picture, I'm hoping you guys can zoom out and tell us a little bit more about prime real estate. And, I do want to highlight the values that I heard from you. One of which is, Robert, when you're talking about impact, right? It's very clear to me that you're in this business, not only to support yourself, support your family, but make a very positive impact in the people's lives that you are connected to and serve. And then Angie, for you, one of the things that you mentioned was just, falling in love with the industry, not just like the business, but like the real estate industry as a whole. So tell us more about prime real estate, how many agents, and, you mentioned the total volume business, but if you could dive into those values a little bit more and how you instill those values in working with your team, and any other values you may want to add.
Yeah, so we're at about 34 agents right now. I think our average sales volume for, at least for the agents that have been with us for this entire year, is about 7.5 million per agent, which I think the industry average is like a couple deals a year, maybe. So for us, it's very important that, we build a company that, when agents come, put their faith and trust in us to partner with us, that we're giving them what they need to be successful. The fail rate is so high. And I think a lot of that is, just because they're not getting what they need. Sometimes it's because they come into this industry and they get punched in the face with what it really is and not what they thought it was, and it's not a fit. But there's so many agents that come in that are willing and able and have the right attitude, but still don't make it because they don't have that support. I look at it a lot like, a college football quarterback coming into the NFL, right? They're getting drafted. They obviously have a ton of talent. But if they go to the wrong organization that doesn't have a good offensive line to block for them, they don't have a coaching staff that develops quarterbacks, and they don't have the weapons, the opportunities with them, to throw the deep ball, or a good running back to hand off to and give some relief to that quarterback. If they're just coming into a bad situation, so many of these quarterbacks with so much talent come into the league and then they're gone within 2 years. It's like, wow, what happened? They had so much potential, but they went to the Jets, or whatever team is not good at developing quarterbacks and has just not been good. And we want to have an environment where if somebody is drafted, they choose us to partner with us. They have the talent, they have the willingness to learn and the right attitude, that we're here to help develop them and help them grow. So that's a big thing for us. It's a pretty brutal industry and it can be very lonely. And it's pretty obvious, right? We're here to enrich the lives of our clients and our community. That's a given, right? But a lot of people don't think about how hard this industry is, and we need to be here to uplift each other and to help each other and to collaborate with each other. So that's really what Prime Real Estate is about. And our goal is to get to 50 agents. Goals can change, but as of right now, our goal is to get to 50 agents and cap it off. We're not here looking to just get huge and bring a ton of people in and grow simply by adding lots and lots of agents. We don't collect a bunch of desk fees to where we don't care if you do a deal or not, we're making money off of you. It's not that type of situation. It's a true partnership where if we pour into our agents and we help them build a successful career, the byproduct of that is Prime Real Estate is going to be a successful company. So we want to get to 50. We want to help everyone, get to a good place where we're averaging $10 million in sales volume per agent, which would put us at $500 million a year. A company of 50 agents doing that type of impact or that type of volume should have a major impact on our local real estate market and a lot of families every year. And the people who are with us should be living great quality lives. I mean, this is a hard business. If you're not closing business and you're not doing well and you're not making a great life for your family, then go get a regular job. You know what I mean? So that's really what we want. And then once we hit that mark, we're just going to continue to help our agents level up. And then if someone is here and it doesn't quite work out, that's part of this business. No harm, no foul. If you think there's a better place for you somewhere else, we make it very easy to move on. But then if we have a couple people leave, we'll only have a couple spots open. And if we maintain that model, we're going to continue to elevate our agents higher and higher and higher. We're going to get better, we're going to get stronger, and we're going to be able to have a bigger impact.
That's great. I got to add, I wish we could have a sports analogy podcast, just one where we could just all just spitball different cool sports analogies as well, because that was spot on. I just sent Angie, it's Kurt Signetti. He just beat Ohio State, and I went and researched his whole background using AI, and everything you said, because he's been a success builder of programs his entire career, is everything you just said. And I actually boiled it down to 7 laws of Kurt Signetti, and that's what I sent Angie, but it's everything you were just saying. So I'm glad that you're as smart as Kurt Signetti, and he's one of the smartest head coaches in college football. So way to go, Robert.
Okay, you're going to give him a big head.
I'll take it.
That's funny. For me, it's elevating the industry, as in we love to be collaborative, because we don't feel like other agents that make their career and they're super serious about it and they're educating themselves. Those are not our competition. We look up to those people. We look up to those agents, even if they're not in our company, even if they're not with EXP. We love working with those agents. It's the agents that are doing it for the money and they're doing it as a side hustle. I'm sorry, but financial investment of buying a home should not be something that you do as a side hustle. That's really where my whole passion for the industry comes in. It really pisses me off when I hear, oh no, my cousin's going to do it. She does like one home a year, or I'm like, do you understand all the implications, like everything that happens behind the scenes, how much money you could be losing, a lawsuit, like there's so many things. And then also working with agents that don't know what they're doing. A lot of times our agents are helping both sides. Like you're having to teach the other agent as you're doing the job, which is not okay, because to get into this industry is pretty easy. So we want to get away from that. There's a lot of change happening in this industry. I think a lot of it is awesome. I think that all this change is also causing agents that aren't serious to just be like, I don't want to deal with this. It used to be a little bit more easy to just go out, show a home, and write a contract. Now there's a lot more laws. There's a lot more transparency. So I'm actually really excited about all the changes happening.
One important thing, and maybe Dom, if this isn't on your radar, we don't have to ask it, but I'm going to throw it out there, is how AI is impacting the real estate industry, and whether it's playing a significant role in positively or negatively impacting your business.
I think both. So positively, there's so many things that AI can help us with, especially within our operations. So we use AI. We love AI. We love smart systems. On the downside of AI, one thing that I'm a little worried about is AI is giving everyone the ability to seem like they're the expert. So I'm afraid that agents that maybe aren't doing the work are just very good with technology and with AI, and they're being able to portray this personality on social media and a lot of different sources where they seem like they're the agent, but it's only because they're really good at manipulating AI and manipulating their marketing, pretty much. Where there's some agents that maybe have been in the industry for more years and they're actually really busy doing the job. They don't have the time right now to maybe be digging in as deep on AI as other agents. So that is my only concern with AI, is if it's going to create confusion with the consumer as to like who I trust, but always trust the agent that has done the sales. That's what I think. Like the agent that has a track record, that has the reviews, those are the agents that you should be working with. Because anyone can say anything online, and AI is making everyone seem pretty smart because they're not even saying it themselves. They're just looking it up. So those are my thoughts on AI. But about AI replacing agents, I don't believe that. I don't know. I think that we deal with a lot of emotions and a lot of I'm not going to, talk too much about that, but I think only a human can deal with that. Like, it's deeper than the contract.
100%.
I think, like with so many great inventions, right? There's, it comes out with, a positive idea and look at all the great impact, but then it's a double-edged sword, right? There's unintended consequences, right? And so we're using Fixer AI, we're using Gamma for a lot of presentation stuff, we're using ChatGPT, we're using Gemini. Our international team is using some other stuff for social media as well. There's so much AI out there that it can't be ignored. The AI train is here. You either get on board or you get run over by it, right? You can't ignore it, and it's going to change everything. But yeah, there will be some unintended consequences. For us, it's taking tasks that we do over and over again, or some tasks that would maybe take a little more time. It's speeding that up. It's giving us time back. But yeah, I think an unintended consequence is exactly what Angie just hit on. You can have an agent, a new agent, or an agent that maybe hasn't done much business, that has the time to really get savvy with AI, and they can then come across as the expert. I mean, they can take AI and create a podcast that knows real estate inside and out and has a great topic and make you sound so brilliant on it, and they're not even the ones talking on the podcast. You know what I mean? It's like, this person knows what's going on, I'm going to reach out to them. Then you put your faith and your trust in them on one of the biggest investments you make in your life, and then you find out the hard way throughout the process that they don't know what they're doing. So I think that's the negative that is potentially out there right now. But overall, AI has really helped us streamline a lot of process, give us time back so we can put our time where it's supposed to be. We didn't get into this business to be social media experts, to be marketing experts, to, so many things that go into what you do with the job of being a realtor. We got in this business to help people, right? To help people realize the dream of home ownership, to make a smooth transition from having a big home they no longer need. The kids have moved out, you need to downsize, to help people.
Yeah.
And this gives us more time to focus on the people. And I think that knowledge, the level of knowledge the playing field on that is being evened out, or at least the perception of knowledge, right? That it looks like everyone's going to be an expert, thanks to AI. And it's really going to come down to emotional intelligence and how you relate with people, and how you serve your customers, that human side of things that can't be replaced by AI. And the people who are really great at that are going to be the ones that go to the next level, I believe.
Yeah, because you might fool them once. You might, with your style of your AI, to get them one time to use you, but that's not going to create a loyal client, which is what we all want, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then to kind of touch on, again, what Angie was talking about is our competition is not the agents who are making this a career, who care about how well they do and care about serving people and care about educating themselves. It's the ones that do look at this as a side hustle. This is not a side hustle. And so one thing that I tell our agents is, we owe it to our clients to be successful. And that kind of sounds weird, right? But what I mean by that is we owe it to our clients to be putting the work in to where we are working multiple transactions at a time. We have a nice pipeline. We're closing a lot of deals because we don't want one person's transaction, whether it goes through or not, to be what determines if you're putting food on the table or not, if it determines if you're going to pay your mortgage or your rent, because we are a fiduciary to our clients. We owe it to them to guide them in what's best for them no matter what. And sometimes it can come down to telling them, hey, this isn't the right house. We've had some things come up in an inspection that I think you should walk away, or this isn't the best situation for you. We need to put ourselves in that position to advise them for what is in their best interest at all times, and not hoping that a deal closes so we can pay our bills. So, people who are doing a couple deals a year that rely on this money to pay their bills and they're not making enough money because they don't treat it like a career, that's a dangerous place to be as a consumer. Putting your faith into this person who needs that deal to close to pay their bills, for them to advise you in your best interest. So we owe it to our clients to be successful, to really take this very seriously, and to always be learning and always be building our skills. We say, there is no finish line, or we're always in beta. No matter what level we get to, it's not done. Okay, we've gotten here. Now, how can we improve? How can we get better? How can we make the client experience better? So we're always working to get better. Whereas people who are doing a side hustle or part-time and not taking it serious, they're going to be way behind.
Yeah, I love it. Love all those things that you said. Is there anything else that you're seeing that you're excited about, in terms of trends in the industry? I mean, I think you did a really great job, diving into some of the nuances that come with AI, but anything else on the radar?
Exciting. Oh man. It's going to sound like such a downer, but it's, there's a lot of tough things in our industry right now. Affordability is very tough. When it comes to the industry, I think, it's hard to say if there's anything super exciting. But personally, within our company, there's a lot of things that we're excited about. There's a lot of things that we're changing up. I don't know if you want to hear about that, but when it comes to the industry, I don't know that there's
Sure.
I can chime in on that a little bit. So yeah, as Angie mentioned, there's a lot of weird things going on in the industry right now. There's affordability issues. There's lots of different lawsuits, different things going on with clear cooperation. So there's a lot of unknown, but I am excited that a lot of this stuff is getting worked through, and a lot of it's out in the public. So I think there's a lot of transparency, and people are learning a lot about the real estate industry just by seeing what's happening. The NAR lawsuit I thought was pretty ridiculous, but ultimately it has created a little bit more transparency in commissions, which I think is a good thing. I think the consumer needs to understand everything about how this process works. That's one thing I tell my clients when I work with them is my goal is for you to understand along the entire process what we're doing, why we're doing it, how it impacts you. And I think that this is forcing a lot of that with agents. And I think one positive with all of this kind of weird stuff kind of floating around, I like quotes, I like sayings, and I butcher them 99.9% of the time. But there's one out there that says a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor, something along those lines. And I think that all of this going on is good in the sense that it's going to be removing some people from the industry that maybe should not be there. The harder this job gets, I think the better for agents who are full-time and take it serious and really want to help people, because it allows for us to continue to grow and help people, but it also stops those ones who are just kind of dipping their toe in the water on the weekends and let me try and make a quick buck. It makes it harder for them. So I think a lot of these challenges are good, but we do need to see affordability turn around a bit, and it's not as simple as interest rates coming down. They're softening, they're getting better. Historically, they're actually in a great place, but everything else is so much more expensive. So I'm looking forward to seeing some resolutions on that so we can get more people into the buyer pool, realizing the dream of home ownership, because there's a huge demand. There's a lot of people sitting on the fence right now. We just need some things to kind of turn around. There's more tech in this industry than there's ever been, which is exciting. But real estate agents are known for chasing shiny things, right? And it's very dangerous because you can end up throwing a bunch of money away testing out all these new products. We're very fortunate that being with EXP and then with the fast forward movement and also having some experience on our side, that we have a lot of people to talk to about what's working, what's not working, where should we invest money, where should we not. But I do like to see where all the tech is going to make it easier for agents to, find properties, work through different, processes, streamline things. So again, we can give more back to the clients, more of our time focused on them. And a lot of that stuff is client facing. They're getting a lot more information at their fingertips. And I know before Zillow or before, access to portals was given to the consumer, everyone was worried, do we still need agents? Even back before when agents were walking around with their private book and we're guarding the information. Everyone's worried about when clients can get that, are we still going to be needed? And it's quite the opposite. I think we're needed more than ever, but being able to give that information to the consumer and having them being able to educate themselves as well and see what's going on, I think that transparency has just made this, everything better with the real estate industry. So as we continue to have more of that, I think it's a positive thing. So I like to continue to see that happen.
Yeah, and it makes the agents have to get better. Like you have to step up as an agent because the consumer now knows and has that information. So, you can't allow your client to know more than what you know. So I think it is exciting. It's just it depends on what level of excitement we're talking about.
Love it. Now, another thing that I've been dying to circle back to, marriage is hard, business is hard. How do you guys navigate both of those together?
So I'm listening to, I think you're listening to it actually as well, Angie, what Psycho-Cybernetics? Is that what it's called? I always mix up the names, Psycho-Cybernetics. Hey, you just got to work on it every day. I think it's human nature to have a negative talk track in your head. You go down this rabbit hole in your mind of worst case scenarios on different things, and it's like toxic. I'm no different than that. Everyone always says, "Oh, you're so calm when I talk to you," but they don't realize that my mind is racing and it's crazy inside. But I'm able to stay calm and deliver a calm message. But it's something that I work on all the time. Marriage is something that we work on all the time, and the business as well. And so many times we're at home and we're just talking business all the time, and we're like, what are we doing? We got to take a step back and we got to have some time for us. So I think it's just something that you have to be conscious of, and it takes work. Again, just like with growing the business, we're always in beta. We're always trying to get better. Nothing's ever done. There's no finish line. And that's the same with life, right? And happiness and marriage and anything that's important to you, you always have to work on it. So, and I think Angie and I spend probably 23 and a half hours a day together. And if she goes on an appointment and she's gone for a couple of hours, I miss her. So, I mean, it's people probably think that's weird, but she's my best friend. She's my everything, the best business partner ever, the best life partner. But yeah, it is something that we have to work on. And when we do have disagreements, because we are very different, it's something where it's like, hey, this is what we're doing. There's no turning back. There's no other road to go. So if we have a disagreement, we've got to figure it out and figure it out fast. Otherwise, we're both going to be miserable for a few days, and that doesn't work.
I second everything that he said. It's working on it every day. Communication is super important. Respecting each other, that's super, super important, and never pointing fingers. And I think that's one thing that we do really well is when we do make mistakes, we never think like, oh, that was you, that was on you. It's more, okay, that happened. How are we going to fix it? So we never point fingers at each other. And I think that on its own goes a long way. If not just as a husband and wife, but maybe also as business partners in general for other entrepreneurs, it's not pointing fingers. I think that really makes there's no finding solutions at that point. You're just kind of fighting against each other. Again, what Robert said, we're in it together all the way. So we gotta find the solution. We gotta move forward. The Working Genius was awesome for us. And as for everything, for our business, but also for our relationship. We did struggle a lot with us being so different. It took me a long time to understand that Robert's brain just is wired different. Like I would think, like, is he doing this to piss me off? Is he, purposely saying it this way? Or is he like, I used to have these talks in my head all the time. Like, I feel like he's messing with me. Like that can't be real. And once we did the Working Genius and we got our results and we found that we're complete opposites, and we understand each other now. Like one example is Robert has a ton of ideas, and he's high tenacity, so he has an idea and he wants to get it done, and nothing in between. Like it's like, this is a great idea, let's get it done. And I live in the discernment enablement. Like I live right like in the middle. Like I enjoy helping people, but I also am like really good at discerning. And he would always say, like, you're always poking holes and you never, like, you're such a joy killer. Like you're not even letting me finish. And I'd be like, well, that's a bad idea. Like, I already know that's not going to work out. Right. So that is rude on my part. And he felt attacked and I didn't do it. And I'm sure he sometimes probably felt like, oh, she's so mean or she's doing it to annoy me or whatever. But I just knew that it wasn't going to work. And I didn't understand where that was coming from. It's like I could see 10 steps ahead. And but now after the Working Genius, now we've learned how to communicate better. Now I understand why he does that, why he goes from idea to actually getting it done. And the reason why I was poking all those holes is because I know that he goes from 0 to 100. So if I didn't poke those holes, he would get it done. And I'd be like, no, like you shouldn't have done that. So now we communicate differently. He says, I'm just tossing around an idea. It's not ready yet. I'm just like, I'm not getting towards, it's just in the beginning. And that helps me think, okay, then I have to ask him questions so that he comes up with a solution on whether this is the right idea or not. And I learned that from my coach, Justin. That has been super helpful. Obviously, it doesn't always work. Sometimes I'm like, no, that's not going to work. So I still do that. But I think now he understands that also it's not me being mean. It's just that's how my brain works. And that's my superpower, right? So that has helped us a ton. I mean, our brains are so different that we even carry stuff out of a car a different way, like exactly the opposite. Like he always does it wrong, like if we have like something to build, like I'm like, you're doing it the hard way. Like, what are you every little thing? We're like complete opposites. But now we've learned that together we have a full view. And I think we really, when we do disagree, instead of thinking, now we think, okay, well, we're seeing the whole picture now because he's seeing one side and back to back seeing the other side. So yeah, that's how we make it work. It's not always easy, but yeah, we also just are very compatible. Like I really love hanging out with him. When it's work, it's work. And when it's fun, it's super fun, and we can be childish and laugh at silly things. But when it's time for work, we're both very dedicated. And I think that we both have the same growth mindset. I think if one of us didn't, it would be a problem. But we both have big goals and we both work hard. So when mistakes happen, it's not because we like didn't care. It's because we tried and it didn't work. So I don't know if that I went on my long rant, but I guess compatibility and working genius to help communication.
Well, to add to that, so yeah, I actually have on my board. So I learned, I think very high level, and whether it was a fully fleshed out idea or just the framework of an idea, I would bring it to Angie, and she would start using her discernment, poking holes in things. And she didn't know if this was a full, complete idea that I had, or if I'm just kind of have the framework and I'm thinking through, and I need the discernment for her to tell me certain things. Or like she said, it's better when she asks questions. Well, if this happens, how would this happen? So I've learned, I have it on my board. I ask her, I tell her I'm processing an idea, right? So I need her wonder, right? Ask me questions about this, work through this idea that I'm processing. Or if I have a full, complete idea that I think is ready to go, I tell her I need your feedback. So that way, hey, give me your discernment, poke holes in this. Where is it going to go wrong, or is this going to work? And so I think that's helped a lot with us both kind of understanding how we think. So
yeah, and for me, when I'm spinning, because I'm not good at coming up with new ideas, I'm spinning, I have all these things, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Then I call Robert, and I'm like, this is what's happening. Give me an idea of how to get started. Like, I don't know where to start. Help me find the beginning of I think of this like thread that's all tangled. So he'll find the beginning of it, and I'm like, okay, thank you. Now we're good. So yeah, now I mean, when you know the other person and you kind of have insight into their brain, like their how their brain works. If you put your ego aside and you like, it's very powerful. It's very powerful if you're able to think it's not about me, it's about them. That's huge. It's like you gave us keys to like own the world, Justin.
Well, and it's been really cool because last couple months I'm studying neurodiversity and ADHD and like understanding brain wiring even more and how it ties into working genius. And it gets even cooler when I share those new insights with you. So it's yeah, when you can understand the why and you understand the wiring of people, then you can reduce a lot of the conflict and misunderstandings and things that create bad outcomes, you know?
Well, before we close down the program, where can people find you guys?
Do you want to go, Robert? I'll go. So we have our website, goprimere.com. That is an easy way to find us for clients and for agents. And our social media is Prime Real E at Instagram. That's our handle. So Prime Real E on Instagram, and GoPrimeRE is our website.
Excellent. Well, loved the insights that you guys had to share with us today. Thank you for coming on and being so generous with your time. And again, really appreciate everything that you had to say. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.